Welcome back to Factorio MSX Gigabase. We're now on version 1631. I think that's right. What is it? Other? No. What is it? Something about mod settings, but at least that's all fine. So, whatever. Anyway, yes, we are on 1631. So, what are we up to? Well, I have basically, well, at least for now, I think, finished this exercise of setting up the defense perimeter and clearing our pollution cloud sort of around here. There's remotely possible there's something in here still, but I mean, these things in theory would have popped it, so I guess we'll see if we get any more violation of our territory by the biters around copper 16. That would kind of point something out. So, what's next? Well, we've launched 7,405 satellites. We're in the middle of mining productivity 135. Of course, on marathon tech prices. What does that mean? Well, there you go. We're doing quite a bit over 330,000. What's over a minute? 314,000. So it's speeding up a little bit. It looks like our tech is running at it's slightly slowing down actually at the moment for whatever reason. I know we don't have enough green circuits, so that's part of it. Where I was going with that was this one. Look at this. Iron plates 1.0 G. G for you're now a gigabase. We can legitimately call ourselves a gigabase. So there you go. You're now in a legitimate gigabase. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to fight UPS, obviously. We are also going to fight the efficiency of these stacks. There's a couple of things we need to do. One, and I did this somewhere else. Where else did I implement this? Was it at this stack? One of these stacks. Yes, here we go. So this is on the right hand side because everything was flipped around in iron smelting 3, but basically because this is so long, the ones in the top 3 have a slightly harder time of getting the plate trains up to them, so having one sort of sit here just makes it a little bit easier for them to get up there, and so we get better throughput in the stack now as a consequence. And likewise, I've done this sort of round the wrong way, so where's a better example? I think I have one somewhere. Yes, over here. We need to give, like this one, an alternate path, which means that we get a longer entrance for the ore down here. Which, I mean, obviously it doesn't have that ore train there right now, but it makes it easier to pre-populate an ore train and then get them all the way down here by just simply creating this alternate pathway for the departure of the ore train out of the second stack here. So we will start by implementing those two things. If I can work out my orientation. So the first bit is this one, I think. Let me just rush back to how it's supposed to go. Yes, just in front, and yeah, then we can move things around. So I just need it to come up here and join in up there. Let's get on with that. Somewhere like, actually maybe back a little bit from there. Is that going to work? Oops, one too far. fact far enough over if I do that? I think we are. So obviously we need one of them. That should be fine, that should be fine still, that should be fine. And we need one there as well now. And then the good part about this is that we will... Oh, we need to move this whole guy over, but that's okay. So, actually, can I, in fact, even get it from my circuitry set up from there? I can. Fantastic. Right. Don't need you anymore. What we do need is one here. And I guess one there, just to shorten that up. And then we no longer need this path crossing through here at all. And there you go, it's being used already. Whoops, I got rid of the wrong one then. And with that there, we no longer need these two. We can just simply put in a, change the signal to a rail signal as opposed to a chain signal, with the consequence that we can now get a 383 to fit in here and improve the throughput. And in fact, we can actually... there's no good reason not to make that a proper signal as well now, like so. And there you go, so it's lining up for the next one. Should stop there, but that should flow slightly better. So that's the first half of these enhancements that we need to do. And notice we're more at 35 now than 32, so I think that's a good thing. We're still running at, well, there's 350 going on 300, and I mean, this should be able to get up to 420, which is why I'm doing this, because we need it higher, but 36, so we've certainly had some benefit from the enhancements that we've been doing. And now to add this extra pathway in here, they're not stopping here at all, are they? So we've got a constant demand. I am concerned that I may have to make more stacks, and that could be quite a problem. Actually, let's... so if I want this sort of 2 out, I want it to be about here. Just so it's sort of aligned. This one will be removed so that we can get an alternate route that comes up here, which will be an alternate route for these guys. That's kind of how this works. And then this just plays out like so. And we can place... It's not going to be 2 paths, so there's no need for... there's no need for that to be a chain signal, because we're getting rid of this one. Now it's time to use bots, not do this by hand. Let's put another signal in about here, since we had one in originally, and yeah, there's no good reason not to have one up here as well. Right, so the alternate path The alternate path is simply an opportunity to come from here all the way past the first 3 entrances. 1, 2, 3, and join in like so. Obviously it will need a measure of those guys, but we give this one, it's got enough room clearly for a 383. We give it a normal signal in here, which should allow trains, were there any, to, let's just fire off another science actually while we're at it. 136. So if there were any waiting, one could come up here and wait, but it looks like there are none waiting. Let's just see what happens. Is this guy going to take our invitation? He might be heading, I keep using gender pronouns. I don't really mean to. It's there's no gender with all of these things. I kind of use it. It's going this way, yeah. It does get used, and it does improve things. Anyway, 2 things. 1, what are we doing with mining productivity at this point? How far are we going to go? 80 was the point where we would achieve a ability on my equation. Let me just have a coffee. We'd achieve a point on my equation where instead of 50 miners with speed modules required to support each train that is served by the station per minute, we could instead reduce that number to 25. Then 113 was we could reduce that number to 20. We're now heading for 154, which by my calculations would enable us to reduce the number to 16. Now admittedly we're sort of 18, well if you count 136 as well, and 154 at the end is actually 19. We're still 19 levels away from that outcome. But I am going to do this exercise on the basis of reducing all of these miners down to 16 per train, because that will free up more, and by the time we've finished the exercise around all of these how should I describe it, each of these sort of independently operating outposts, because they're blocked off from the rest of the network. By the time we've done all of these sort of ore outposts, we will definitely have made 154, I think, because it really doesn't take that long. I mean, what's our science now? Almost nothing. 1.5. That's a function of green circuits not being enough, I'm pretty sure. So yellow science is constantly missing the speed modules, and if you go and have a look at speed modules, I mean, you can see that they're all there. Both, well, in this case it's actually both components. So yeah. So I know I need to build another green circuit stack, and that's probably going to hurt, but it is what it is. Let's just see. I should have done this in map view, of course, because now I'm stuck behind some miners. But let's just see, for starters, how many we have here. We've got 340, okay? Because I've just let it run down. I haven't had the alarm running on this mine. And obviously I want to do 2 things. I want to move this stack into the middle of all of this area, we've got 8 trains here, so 340 is far too many. Even if it was just 20, it would be 160, but it's 16. At 16 it is 128, so we're dividing the total number of miners by about 3, even though they've already reduced themselves by virtue of just getting exhausted through this area. So I think what I want to do is that where I've got my latest 4-way mine? You know what, I might actually get a new copy of my 4-way mine. Is this a good example of it? Probably. Let me just blueprint this. To about there. And this is a 4-way train stop, 4 platform iron ore. So what I want to do basically is shove this guy in the middle of this area. Maybe something like that. So there's, or maybe over a little bit. So there's a chunk that's in this sort of thicker area of it. Let's see, is that even possible? No, it's not even possible to get these guys to overlap or something. But if we were aiming for about there, which seems about reasonable, maybe 1 over. If it's 1 over, I need to basically get rid of this set of miners. So let's start with that as an objective. So yeah, we're going to have a much shorter, like this is quite a big bot trip. Instead of this, they'll be going for sort of this little distance, which will definitely help a lot to start off with. And all these excess things contribute to the electricity network cost. How are we going now? If we go to, I've picked up a whole bunch of miners along here, which I definitely don't want, because their orientation is all wrong. So how's that now? We need to remove this row as well. Of course, my problem is that I have all of these boxes that are full of stuff that unfortunately I didn't set up any limits on these boxes originally, which of course is a huge mistake, and I'll try and learn that lesson for next time. But yeah, we've got 2.4k in all of these boxes, and that's going to be a bit of a pain to get rid of. Some of them, a very few, are already actually empty, and some are actually being emptied, and hopefully with the general course of this picking up, doing what they have to do, we're sort of up to this point anyway, so we might actually be lucky enough to have the necessary boxes cleared out for us. By boxes I mean chests, if that term is upsetting anybody. You're very much in the way, you're not where I want you to be. How about you come over here now? guys are outside of range, are you? Well... how about if we go there? So yes, all of these passive providers along this line was in the way. It's a little hard to judge how effective this strategy is until you've kind of finished all of your constructions and so on, because we still have the cost of all of the bot movement over here, of course. And I must admit, I am actually starting to run out of weapons in this war against the UPS. So, yeah, we need to kind of hope that what we're doing is going to sort everything out. Good, good. There is a train. What I might be able to do is... I probably should either limit these or even remove some of these. We can put them back in later, but they're not helping us clear the boxes that we need cleared, so let's just get rid of a few of these ones. And they might have to go a little bit further afield, i.e. to these ones up here that we want them to clear. And of course the other thing I can do is lay down, I've only got 10 which doesn't help, but lay down these ones to force the removal of the ones that we don't want. In fact, I should probably get more of those, because it would certainly help. We can, if we use the active providers, we can get the logistic bots to help us out, whereas if we are restricted to I don't think we need any of that stuff anymore. Or anything on that? Good. So let's just get 100 of the active providers. That shouldn't take too long for the supply train, and that should make it a bit easier to get rid of the chests that are in our way. Possibly could do with another roboport or two just here in the meantime. Just to help. And we are going to want to clear these, but it would probably help if we could lay down our new ones first. How is that supply train going? It's already on the way. Let's just tell this, the artillery has come to a complete halt, so that's good. It's up the top of the map. It's probably another good opportunity for some coffee while I wait. So, we're able to do this exercise. We've already... I didn't actually completely do it here. I should have. Because the removal of all of these is certainly definitely part of the efficiency of the whole thing. But this is a fairly big improvement. Actually, I probably need to put in some miners just here, but I took out miners, but we have a whole bunch over here that are probably more distant than they really need to be. We could be using some just here or just here instead of these. I could rationalize this a bit further. It's also based on 20 rather than 16, so that's part of the reason why I want to go to 16 now, even though it's kind of premature, because it will it enables us to not have to repeat this exercise so soon. How are we going? Do we have... If we had our supply train, it doesn't look like it. You can't be too far off. No. It's just coming down here somewhere. Wherever the little train is, that'll be it. So I guess the question is, how far are we going to go with the research? Because obviously we need to get to 154 now. I'm not going to stop at 154. I'm actually thinking I will go to 275. At 150, well, at, what are we at, 136? 54,000 minute research. It's still, I mean, if we were getting this happening at the pace that it should be, it wouldn't be too bad. It's a little bit slower than I'd ideally like. I'm actually wondering why we haven't had launches just at the moment. Oh, okay, I've got a choker on them when the two of these, either individually or together, add up to 96k, which is the maximum space science you can fit in a single chest. Then space science is prevented from firing up, because otherwise you could have a situation where you're trying to put space science, or you're creating space science, but there's nowhere for it to go, so you're just wasting resources. So in theory that means that the space science has gotten ahead of itself, and yeah, I mean, it's yellow that's holding us up clearly, very, very clearly. And the reason yellow is holding us up is because there's no speed modules. Actually, there are speed modules there. The reason that one's holding us up is because there is no processing units, which will probably be the same reason. There's no processing units because there's not enough green getting in, so there's no excess here. It's just trying to fill this train up as fast as it can. We should be having fairly good numbers on processing units then. I don't think that 4,000, 5,000 is a very good number, so yeah, the problem up here is we're completely out of green circuits, and green circuits is still not really doing the numbers I want it to. Oh, what's the problem with this guy? Oh, he's trying to get in to get refilled. That's what his problem is. So yeah, that's a bevy of additional tweaking opportunities. There is a little bit more I can do here. I think we need to straighten this out and move this over so that we can increase it up to like 6 platforms, because we can have a situation where these say 1 and 2, and we're waiting on 3, and 3's stuck behind them because of the number that we're calling through. And so that can put a limit on the throughput. So we'll get to that in due course though. I think we've finally got our resources over here, so we need these guys in the amount of 100. And there we go. There's actually a handful left, which I could pick up if I could be bothered, but I don't think it's that important. 100, we'll see how well we go with 100. And in the meantime, hopefully we've made some progress over here. It does look like we have made some fairly good progress. No, those aren't the ones. I'm confusing myself. The progress we needed to make was in here, and this doesn't actually look as good as I was hoping, really. But never mind. What we'll do is we will replace all of these guys with active providers just to try and get them all cleared. the exercise. It's, whoops, doesn't actually help our UPS until it's complete. And this guy will be in the way, of course, once we're done. So those ones have all succeeded. Thought I was just about out, but apparently not. Oh, that was full of iron ore. So I might actually just pause the recording until these have emptied, and then we can do the final bit of moving this guy over and reorganizing it a little bit. Because unfortunately we're not actually getting the kind of 8 throughput that we need to. This is actually probably one situation where I've done myself a disservice, although it's going to feed in there very shortly, so it's hardly going to notice. But yeah, if we had another train, it could be going in here. This one should be going in here. And then this one should add itself in here. Unless there's very clearly another opportunity for moving in one of these earlier ones. But yeah, continuous throughput. 360,000 a minute. With a bit of luck, by the time we finish this exercise, we'll be steady on 400,000 plus. It looks like yellows have finally kicked off. And yeah, I'll pause now. No, not that sort of pause. And back. So, all of these boxes are out of the way, so I think we can fit this guy in. Let us use a little bit of InfiniZoom just to get a better strategic sort of layout going here. I think something... Ooh, oh, that's... we have a couple of power poles in the wrong place. And up here as well. Let's do that again. InfiniZoom. So yes, I want a little bit of weight up here so that we can over time sort of bring in some of this, but also there's quite a volume back there as well. So there's one more thing that I haven't removed that will be easy enough to fix though. So I guess something like that will be our revised location, and let's get back into a sensible sort of size and start limiting these guys. Zero. I could always make a copy of 0 boxes, but because I got these slightly wrong, I'd probably just muck up more than actually help, and it doesn't take that long to do this. Although we are going to copy it a couple of times, well, a few times, because there's sort of, let's say on average 4 outposts per smelter stack, all of which need this treatment. So now as the trains come in, they should completely exhaust these boxes, not be completely full, and allow me to start transitioning them over to here. We are going to need some more rail, let's get that. From our trusty engineering train. What else else might we need? We might need a few more of those. Let's try that for now. Am I out of... it looks like I'm out of stations as well, so I guess I can pick up some more stations while we're about it. Just so it's easier to transition from one set of stations to the other. Now, these stations are going to be given the same name as these ones. So those will be the new iron 14s in time. So all of these are dead, and all of these are dead from the looks of things. Let's get rid of those two stations. Actually, I want to be at the other end, so he's going to clear that one anyway. So it may be that the best way of doing this is just to rapidly complete the build here. Now, how are we going to do this? Probably, we may as well cut another line all the way through here and have just a shorter arc on this line. That's as good a way as any, although it probably means that I'm going to want a lot of tree removal. Ooh. Does that mean that these have not... No, they have been zeroed. Not quite sure what happened there then. So I mean, over time we'll probably eliminate all the trees in the base. There. Fortunately, there is a rubbish stop that we can dump all of this into, and we will do that and then finish this track up, then get the trains to divert to our new stops. I might actually try and move a little bit away from these guys. Yep, good. No, leave me alone. No, leave me alone. There will be nothing coming through here, so it's fairly safe to cross here. Dump all of this wood in the rubbish stop just here. There's far too many logistic bots just sitting in this little area. Are they connected to that part? Oh, I see. So that's alright. They certainly cleared that out for me pretty quickly, so that's good. Now, let's sort these guys out. This one, that's it. Whoops, what do we do? It's a little bit longer than I really wanted it to be in terms of creating a alternate path. We're temporarily, I mean, we'll recover all these resources when we pull that up, but we are temporarily laying down a bunch of duplicated resources. But I guess since, as I said, we're going to recover them all, it doesn't really matter. Although we have kind of run out, but yeah, that's... actually, it's not such a good idea, really, to run out. Because I want the other trains to be able to escape out here and into here. So I probably actually need enough resources to complete this, which, yeah, it's a bit of an issue. Never mind. And we're missing a bunch of stuff in here, but that's okay. Whatever it is, we'll be able to fill it out in the near future. Power poles, what else? There must be some ghosts of some sort, but that will be okay. It's very safe to cross this. The only thing that might cross over there is a fuel train, which I think we are pretty clear from. Let's just grab all of that. We probably may as well have those as well. Got some more of the main signals down there. Guns. Yes. Biters. That should fill in some extra signals there for a little bit of extra throughput. Look at this thing all lined up now. And getting worse. Well, 8 of them will be there very shortly. Are we almost there? We must be. We're almost there on the tech. Let's keep going. No, this hasn't moved in a while, but as discussed, it should in the not too distant future. This is going to double up on signals a little bit too much, but never mind. Let's not allow any more of these guys through there, thank you very much. We are going to need a bit more space in this general region. And then I guess temporarily what I want to do is that. They're not going to be able to escape, but that should be okay. So you should be told to go to Iron 14. With a bit of luck you will leave and head into this new area. I need to get rid of the Iron 14s for the other stations, or at least cycle the trains out. Just check, yes, that one's going in where I wanted it to. Always got to check for shotgun trees that I'm not on nukes. Done that one or two many times for my liking. Now, if I can get this guy to depart past the point of no return and then head to Iron 14, that should allow one of these to come through. If I can do the same for this one. Past the point of no return. That should let this one come through. Get this guy out of here. And then these last two all I should need to do for them is remove these stations and tell it to go to Iron 14, and that should be fine. we've got a tiny little bit left over there, never mind. Let's get rid of some of these inserters and boxes, just in case we were missing any of those over here. So we can fill those in if that was the problem. It looks like it was a bit of a problem. Now, we need to give them an escape route. So, probably should have driven one of those trains down here as part of the escape route, but never mind. This is probably going to end up being in the wrong spot, but never mind about that either. Has that let any of them depart? Yes, it has. Very good. Multiple of them, in fact. And this train here is the last train on that section, so with its departure to here, we can eliminate this section altogether. Turn this into more of a corner rather than an intersection, because it's not an intersection. There's no need for it to be. Not my best corner, but under the circumstances I'll take it, at least for now. We can get rid of this via bots at this point. So we're almost done, not quite. We still need to sort out the very important reduction in miners at this station, or reduction change of configuration of miners. We haven't actually achieved anything like what we can yet from here. Oh, we're full of stuff now. I don't want these logibots. No, honestly, I don't want your logibots. Thanks. What's that? Power. Is that what we've got a problem with on this side? Yeah, just a little bit of power. There we go. Power is restored. Power is largely restored. Now, so we don't want these guys way up here at all. They're totally in the way. So I think what we'll do is we will set up one of these to just pick up the miners. And I'll just get rid of all of these guys down here. They're kind of in a bad spot. And I can't fit them all, of course. Alright. We will need to relocate some of these items. I don't think I can do that. Let's just put that there for the moment. Right. Alright, that's better. Now, we have 8 trains coming here. Let's have a look how many miners that represents. I might temporarily just turn that into a normal one. So if I were to go like so, we now have 119, which is actually probably very close to the total that we want. But I think I would still rather get rid of a few from back here. Oh, and this is too many rows back. We got over here. This is probably a row too far. Right, one more quick measurement. That's only 66, alright. That, of course, is not enough. 66. So we have 8 trains coming here, I believe. I believe we still have 8. Should do. We do. 8 by 16. 128. So we have about 66. That means we need to add in, where is my sparse mining patterns? Here we go. That's, I actually want that on its side. Is that right? No. They'll have to do. Like that. About there. And on the other side, about there. We are obviously going to need to expand this a bit further, so let's get another measurement. 87, so we need about 41 more. Okay. So that would be 8. Oops. 15. Guess we can have a little bit over here. It's just 3, so that's 18. Another 4's 22. What did I say I needed? 40 something. We're at 22. And another 8 is 30. 34. 36. 40. Check that one. 132, that will do. Doesn't matter that we're slightly over. In the 40s. Seriously, game, what's going on? Iron has dropped way off for the moment. For some reason. Probably because we weren't getting anything from here for a while, but now we are. We need to fix up this network as a final wrap up, but I think that's probably enough. Yeah, some of this is just because iron has completely dropped off for the moment, and that's, oh, this has started picking up again. That's probably because we have still ongoing problems with green circuits and so on, but there's hope, guys, there is hope. And that's what I'll leave you with. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye bye for now.